Exile PS4 stream. So today, it's July 8th, 2019, and fortunately we've actually had another patch for the game, so it does seem like we are getting pretty regular patches so far in the game, especially throughout this league. Just to kind of briefly go over a few of the things that they had mentioned in the patch notes, it does appear that they have claimed to fix an issue where a lot of skills double cast. I am definitely hoping that Leap Slam is one of them, as it's been causing me a bit of grief anyways while I've been playing. They've apparently fixed a few desync issues, which would essentially be the rubber banding, which I also run into quite a bit of. So hopefully that makes that a little better as well. And they had also mentioned that they fixed a few different errors that they realized were crashing the game. So, it's good to see them moving in a positive direction. Definitely glad to see that, they're not, just giving up and throwing in the towel. The fact that they are continuing to patch the game, so hopefully it continues to get better. Hey Soho, how's it going tonight? So just gonna stash a bit of the inventory here. And I'm gonna map for a little bit. I was thinking about doing some more delve until I realized I'm pretty much out of sulfate. So what we can do, we can see if we have no, it doesn't look like we have any maps that he's actually in. So Nico would be here in the estuary. Hey dude, what's up? So let's just go ahead and we'll run race course. Hey Darkness, what's up? Let's see, curse the temporal chains. It's gross, but I'll do it. Not a fan of the temporal chains mod, but we'll deal with it. As always, I mean, if any of you guys want to come map, definitely feel free to jump on in. It should be public in the community page. So I'm interested to see. I haven't double count. There's a loaded desync right there. I haven't double cast Leap Slam yet though. So that's good at least. So far so good on that. It wasn't necessarily detrimental by any means, it was just more annoying than anything else. Looks like things are dying much quicker. It's kind of odd. Nice dude. Yeah, I still don't have an Exile this league. Oh, dude, no worries. I'm just happy when people pop in. I don't expect anyone to make it every single stream. For sure. Oh, nice. Did you ever have any luck changing servers?
My spirit is spent.
Yeah, for sure, man. Happy to help. Has it been any better now that you haven't been stuck on the Australia server? Nice, got a map. Ah, that sucks, dude. Yeah, I've never gone through and changed servers just because I don't seem to have too many issues. I mean, the issues I have, I don't think the server change is gonna fix. It's like just like the desync stuff. Nice. I'm holding out hope that eventually the town I'm living in gets fiber internet, but I don't know if that's ever gonna happen. Alright, I gotta hear the punchline to asking if this is my LeBron James build. I know this is leading to something. Ah! I think you've just been awarded with Dad Joke of the Night. Oh yeah, that's right, I have temporal chains. I was wondering why I was moving so slowly again. It's like kind of leap slammed and cyclone through that whole thing. Yeah, it'd be nice. I'm really hoping we get optimized before anything else. There's a lot of stuff I want to see done. But, I mean, the biggest thing is I'm hoping that they just fix a lot of the issues with the game right now. So far, I'm not having too rough of a time tonight. But, like, my internet's pretty decent. So I can only imagine, like, for anyone who doesn't have, like, pretty solid internet, that the desync issues are probably even worse than what I experience. No worries, man. As you can tell, not a whole lot of stuff bothers me. So, not the sword, just because the no physical damage would actually kill my build. The jewel, that one jewel could potentially help. Accuracy. Plus a modifier, maybe. That's interesting. Endurance charge. Let's see, what am I using for my current gloves? Yeah, the Resistul's the one that I could definitely use, just because I'm kind of missing out on some other stats of other items, just because of the fact that I'm having to use so much resist on all my items. Fortunately, my gloves don't really have any, so I think my curses are. Oop, I didn't mean to do that. My bad. I could probably use the jewel, to be honest. Let's see. No, the resists one. Intelligence is actually the stat I need to stack up, so that would kind of hurt my build too. Mainly just so I can actually have my curses equipped. Yep, that's perfect. Did that go through? Yep, cool. Thanks, man. I'll have to wait until I unlock a jewel slot for that, but I should have one. I should be able to take one next level, actually. I'm pretty sure... Where was one hanging out at? I swear I had one where I could... Right here. Yeah, so I can get that jewel socket next level and pop that in there. Awesome, thank you. Oh, that's sneaky. No, I'm gonna try and have fun with this and only give one hint a day. As excited as I am about it, I have to do my best to kind of keep it a secret. And then I guess it'll kind of depend on how Thursday goes. I'd like to kind of maybe just start doing a throwback Thursday every Thursday. So my hint today was the one that I put in the community section. It was if winter were coming, this developer would never know. And then I guess I did give kind of another little mini hint because someone asked a question that I answered. I was asked if it was on multiple consoles, which it was only on one. It's only on one console. I guess the other little mini hint I can give is that since it's Throwback Thursday, obviously it wasn't for this gen or the previous gen. Followed. So we'll see how the Thursday stream goes. I haven't really decided on if I want to do like different games every Throwback Thursday or stick with the same one for a little while, maybe do a full playthrough. I think it'll depend on like if people enjoy the game that I'm going to be streaming. I started a little later tonight. So I'm not gonna tell anyone if they're right or wrong with guessing the game. However, the first person that does end up guessing it correctly, if anyone does guess it correctly, I will give them a shout out at the beginning of the stream.
Salah.
I wish I could give away a prize, but I just can't afford it, to be honest. Otherwise, I totally would. This game will do that to you, man. This game will definitely make it feel like it's the only thing you're doing. I actually have to force myself to play other games sometimes. That's right, streaming content and pride.
My spirit is spent.
That's right, my skills aren't equipped entirely because I was delving last stream. Although, all my buffs are still going, so that's good. I'm holding off on any 5-link crafting just for now. Just because I don't know if I'm going to do it on my chest piece, but I don't know if I'll end up finding, a better chest piece anytime soon. Hey, what's up, Hi-Res? We got a map up here. So you actually fighting Elder in like the tier 16 then? Oh, have you not used your one free name change? Actually, recently I had to use mine to switch my PSN name to the BullShifter. Because I had the same PSN name since like early PS3 days.
Greetings, survivor.
Ooh, I'll be right there. Hoping to get another incubator soon. I feel like I haven't gotten an incubator in a minute. That's the next thing I'm expecting to read in the patch notes. Oh, I gotcha. Oh, I desynced. I didn't hit any of those. Wow, this... Oh wait, it's because they were unlocked already. The desync actually does seem a bit better, just because I'm getting much more consistent leech. I know it's a big part of what was killing me in a lot of the past streams is like, I just end up not leeching anymore. When you're not regenerating any health naturally, like, it's gonna kill you in a heartbeat. I haven't tried too many older games, but I haven't had any problems with any yet. The biggest one that I was concerned with was Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, just because you can't even buy them on the PSN shop anymore. But I was still able to get into both of those games without any problems, so I think you're safe. I think they have a list online of games that they've confirmed like are compatible with the name change on PSN, and some that have issues.
Hello.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't honestly know if they'll fix that or not. We got a few divine orbs, or it's a blessed orb actually. Oh yeah, the divine normally goes here right underneath the blessed orb. They're relatively rare, so that's a good drop. Not a shabby drop at all. It's smart to invest in the currency early. It may seem a bit counterintuitive, but it's because of the fact that later on during the league, more people are going to be burning through their currency because they're going to be trying to craft. So typically, currency will actually be in higher demand later on throughout the league. It's kind of weird how it works because obviously item demand is really high. When the league first starts, because everyone's trying to gear up, everyone's trying to, get the perfect items for their build early on, so that way they can kind of cruise through content a bit easier. So that puts your actual items as being a bit more expensive when the league starts. But once you get towards the end of the league, when people typically have their items already, the item demand goes down and the currency demand goes up. So that's something to keep in mind for future leagues. I don't think I've even gathered enough shards to fight at Ziri. Yeah, I still need a couple. Is that what it's called? The one from Synthesis League? I don't even remember. No, let's just chilling out doing some maps. Yeah, Adziri is the it's actually the boss that shows up on the loading screen whenever you enter a Vol area. But yeah, she's the one you collect the 4 shards of sacrifice for. If I can, I'll usually try and wait to I'll try to wait for the prophecy. That'll guarantee that she drops her pyramid map before fighting her. Just because that pyramid has ridiculously good loot. I ran it twice last league because of that prophecy, and I ended up coming away with 3 6-links because of it. Now the downside is most of those items are going to be corrupted items. But I was lucky enough to where the chest piece was still really good, and I just had to use my crafting bench to change the color of the sockets on it. I'm honestly not sure. To be honest, that's the one area where I admittedly don't have a ton of knowledge on, is the actual, like, unique items themselves. Biggest reason for that is it's honestly the last thing I do with my builds. Whenever I create a build, I try and make something relatively generic to where, as I play through the game, I can kind of fit in different unique items or different rares that I craft to make my build stronger. So I basically try and make something that's somewhat viable first, and then just basically power up through getting better items. Hey dude, thank you. Appreciate that. Oof. Rip. I don't think I desynced that time either. I think I just got it over my head. The Einhar's beasts hit hard. I think they hit much harder this league than they did last league. It's one of the few things I've noticed, if I don't back off a little, can actually kill me with, a little bit of ease. I wouldn't say I get killed all the time by him, but definitely more often than, you know, normal enemies. Yeah, and that's one thing that always slips my mind too, just because like on stream, just because admittedly quite a few of my friends don't really play the game anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, on stream, I always kind of just slips in my mind that I'm playing multiplayer, so the enemies are all buffed up. Don't worry, little beasts. We'll be friends until we slaughter you. The Mad Baron goes down. Yeah, see, like I was able to face tank the boss, but couldn't face tank one of Einhar's beasts. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy indeed. Ooh, desync. That was bad. That one actually almost did get me killed. Why won't you die, spider? Because Einhar isn't with us. Einhar, you bum. Get over here. It's like fighting a Pokemon with no Pokeball. Get over here, we need capture. He just poofed. There we go. So we actually have to, I think we have to go through that doorway. Get to the monolith. Maybe not. Another thing I really wish they'd put in this game is if someone puts like an asking price on a map, or I mean an asking price on anything in the trade market, I wish it would just auto accept when someone puts in an offer. Oh, no worries. What I'm hoping to do in Legion is honestly probably just kill Uber Elder. I'd like to get through some of the challenges, but admittedly I haven't even really checked them out very much yet. Just because, I mean, if you progress through the game, a lot of them just come naturally. Especially if you're running the League content quite a bit. I thought there was a monolith up this way. Oh yeah, there it is. So I mean, essentially, yeah, just to build up, kill Uber Elder. That's what I want to do in Legion. I want to run a few breaches. Hopefully get a few more incubators. You're going to get that a lot on PS4, unfortunately. You're going to get a lot of people trying to rip you off. It sucks, but there's not really a whole lot you can do about it except, you know, be aware, be smart, don't buy into it. That's why I made a few videos
My
on the trade
spirits are
market,
spent.
just to... Oh, my spirit's gone. That's no bueno. But yeah, I try and educate people the best I can on, you know, where to look at your resources to find out what stuff's worth, so that way people aren't, you know, taking you. Nice. Because that's another problem that the game has, the fact that, you know, there are veteran players who know the value of things that are going to try and prey on people who don't know the you know, the value of things. I don't know a lot of the items off the top of my head when it comes to like uniques, just because there's so many of them, and trying to, you know, keep everything else in the game in mind. It's just the one thing that I just have poor memorization on. But I mean, that's why I always preach using PoE Ninja so much. Granted, it only shows you the value on PC, but I typically figure as long as I'm not paying more than 2 to 3 times as much as what something's going for on PC, then I'm probably still getting a decent deal. And sometimes you'll even find someone who's actually decent enough to, you know, give you something for the price that it typically goes for on PC if it's not a super rare item. They're few and far between, but you can find them. And that's really all it comes down to. Just, you know, look up the item value, see if something's close to what it says on PoE Ninja. Like I said, 2 to 3 times as much. Like, I don't like it, but like I get it. We do have a lot less players on PS4 than what they have on PC. You know, less players is going to inflate prices a bit. But, you know, when people are asking for an Exalted Orb for something that should be selling for a few Chaos, like, that's the kind of stuff people need to look out for. Like, that's nuts. Yeah, jewelry in this game in general, just because you don't run into it as much, can be a bit more valuable. I normally hold on to a lot of, well, it's not uniques, but I'll hold on to a lot of rare jewelry more often than I will other rare items, just because, you know, I use them for Chaos and Regal recipes. Just a really solid way to make currency. Why did I pick up a war banner? I must have done that by mistake. It's an equality. So at this point, something I've been doing with my inventory too, just 'cause obviously, as anyone who's watched me before knows, I like to loot a lot. But one thing I do to somewhat control it is gems. This league, I'm literally only gathering stuff that has extra quality attached to it, and getting rid of the other stuff. So that way, once I have to organize my inventory for next league, it'll just be a lot easier to manage. Oh, that's harsh. Was it before they did it like become a legacy, or was it one of the fractured items, or what do they call them now? Ugh. We haven't crashed yet tonight, which is good. I mean, I would highly recommend to, like, if any of you guys do have external hard drives you can install the game on. I've had a lot of luck playing this game off an external hard drive as opposed to just, you know, playing directly with it installed on my PS4. Ah. Oh, that sucks. I haven't done a lot of build tutorials yet. It's something I want to get into doing a bit more often. The only build tutorials I've really done so far are like the builds I've actually run so far in the leagues. Like I've done one on this one, which is my Cyclone build. I kind of did one for Summoner or Zombie Mancer last league, and I actually ran that character from start to finish just to kind of show everyone like how to run through the campaign without actually buying anything from the trade market. And I don't remember if I really showed my Volatile Dead build all that much. The thing with that too is when you hear online that like people tell you to stay away from certain builds, there's most likely a way to make it viable. I've personally never used the item rarity support gem. If you're really looking to run an item rarity build, I would prefer to just put it on your items as opposed to using a support gem for it, just because you're sacrificing a lot of DPS that way. Like, I always want my skill gems to be attached to something that's going to help me do more damage or just help me out defensively. I will honestly say I do feel like this game has been a lot better with the lag, playing with multiple people each and every patch that's gone out. Like, I know we've only got 2 people in here right now, but it does feel a lot smoother than it did last week. So, I mean, hopefully they keep it up. I forgot who originally told me about Path of Exile, but when I first heard about it, I was playing a lot of Marvel Heroes on PC, and just really was into that game. And people told me, you know, hey, if you like Marvel Heroes, you should really try Path of Exile. It's actually a lot better than Marvel Heroes. And I was like, oh, well, you know, maybe at some point down the line. And then I did what a lot of people do, and I saw the passive tree, and all the different skill gems for the game. I did a bit of research on it, and at first my response was, no, I'll take a soft pass on that one for now. But eventually, oh crap. Eventually, Marvel Heroes unfortunately shut down, so I stopped playing Marvel Heroes, obviously. I didn't have a choice. And I started playing a little bit of Path of Exile on PC, and just kind of instantly got sucked right into it. Really enjoyed the game. Things seemed a lot less daunting. Yeah, have a good night at work, man. Or a good day, I suppose. As much as I love Marvel Heroes, yeah, I do think Path of Exile is a better game. There's a lot more to do in the end game than there was in Marvel Heroes. And, like, I think a lot of that comes from the fact, too, that Marvel Heroes didn't end on the high note that it had, like, in the middle of its lifespan. Hey, what's up, dude? Yeah, Marvel Heroes really hit its stride shortly before David Brevik left Gazillion. And then after he left, things stayed good for a little while. but the new CEO of the company kind of drug the game down. They made that console push as like a last-ditch effort to pretty much, unfortunately, drain some money out of the player base. And it was never as good as it was in its midlife cycle. They had a lot of aspirations to do a lot of things with the game, and eventually just became a cash grab. Which I feel like a lot of games fall into that trap nowadays. Like, one thing I will say for Path of Exile, cosmetics are expensive, but you don't need cosmetics to play the game. So the only thing that like you can actually buy in the shop that will give you any sort of edge whatsoever is stash space. Which for a free game, I personally don't mind paying for stash space. It's fine. Because it's more of a luxury than anything else. I will say, like, if you plan on seriously getting into the game, a currency tab is almost essential. But I mean, you can make do. One thing I actually did too with my first few streams, I think it was like the first 10 or so, as I was building that necromancer character I was talking about earlier, I actually only used like 1 or 2 stash tabs. Just to kind of show that it could be done. It killed the completionist OCD person inside of me. But, you know, you can do it. You know, the option's there. You can definitely play the game without extra stash tabs. You just have to be kind of stingy with what you pick up. That's not my playstyle. Obviously, as anyone who's kind of watched my streams can tell. But, you know, it's doable. That's a fine modifier. Deal with that. Yeah, that's the thing. My recommendation for anyone who kind of just wants to put some money into the game, they do stash tab sales somewhat regularly. I think they've done at least a handful since the game's come out on PS4. I think that's the most worthwhile way to spend currency. You know, they do sales pretty regularly on cosmetics too. Like, microtransaction. What's the sale currently? I haven't actually even got a notification about it since the patch, so I'm not even sure what's on sale right now. So it'll be under specials. Oh, stash tabs are on sale right now. Looks like stash tabs and a few pets. But basically the way to figure out pricing, at least for USD, add a 0 to the end of it, and you know, put your decimal after the 0 that's there right now. So like a unique collection tab is, you know, roughly $11. So I mean it's, yeah. So I mean it's not necessarily cheap. Trial of Swirling Fear. Do I have this? I don't think I have this one. Oh, no, I do. That sucks. Whatever. At least I don't have to deal with that Trial of Ascendancy. Ooh, Syndicate Lab. These are fun. AKA Syndicate Boss Rush. Dead end. Not good, not good. Must be up here. I think I took a wrong turn around Albuquerque.
Gonna kill all of you down here.
Rude.
You win.
Wouldn't it be more
Let's
fun to
parlay.
every-
My head still hurts. Hate myself.
Gotta be careful so we don't
Hate myself.
die there.
Hate the syndicate.
Let's just execute you.
Yeah.
Give you a rank.
That was vivid. Got some on me. I
Rival
see you're not one
rivalries.
to bluff. Well, I...
Sure.
Ah, nobleman's work. Lovely.
Oh crap, not what I meant to do. And I gotta go all the way back. Yeah, anything that's essentially an expensive item is always going to have a low drop rate.
Salah. Salah.
Yeah, I mean, what you consider expensive or not is basically based on, especially when it comes to free-to-play games, just based on your personal preference as to what you think is worth something and what, essentially isn't worth something to you. I think the cosmetics are a little expensive in this game. The stash pricing doesn't really bother me all that much. I think that's fine. I mean, the way that I did things with, my money in this game is I bought one of the supporter packs from the first league, which essentially gave me enough currency to go ahead and buy all the stash tabs that I wanted to buy. So basically I spent like $60 on the game, which is the price of, what's considered a full price game. And kind of the way that I've always valued, when you pay for a game is basically if, I can play a game. If I pay $60 for a game and I can get 40 hours of entertainment out of that game, it was a good value to me. I've definitely gotten more than 40 hours out of Path of Exile, so, the purchase doesn't really bother me at all. But again, that's all based off of, your perception of value for the game. Cosmetics are cool, and, I care about them in some games. But in Path of Exile, it doesn't really matter to me if I'm running around in default gear, because there's enough cool default gear in the game to where your characters don't look super generic anyways. So it doesn't really, I'm fine with running around in stuff that's not, doesn't look all that special.
Greetings.
For me, the big must-have was the stash tabs. That's the one thing I always personally recommend to people. Like, I think the best bang for your buck if you do plan on buying anything in the game is the stash tabs. Doesn't necessarily give you an edge, but it's just a quality of life thing. It just makes the game a lot more enjoyable, being able to actually hold on to some stuff. I mean, if you've enjoyed your time with the game and like you've gotten plenty of playtime out of it, which it sounds like you have, I wouldn't be ashamed of putting that into the game. I played Marvel Heroes for, I'm trying to think of how long the game was out, because I basically played it from beta to completion, which I want to say was around 4 years. And I probably spent at least $1,000 on Marvel Heroes throughout those 4 years, because I'd buy all I forgot what they called it, but they do a pack like before the Heroes for the Year came out, and you could pick it up and you'd get like all the heroes at a pretty high discount, and you'd get like an alternate costume for all of them, as well as like some other consumable items and fortune cards, which could potentially have some cool costumes in them also. And I think that's a perfectly fine mentality to have, too. Because, I mean, you should expect them to fix the game and optimize things. Yeah, I'm clearly a big fan of this game, and, you know, I'm not going to pretend like the game's optimized and everything's, you know, fantastic and wonderful and perfect. Like, they've got plenty of room for improvement. But, you know, I am optimistic in the fact that at least we are getting weekly patches, and it does seem to be making things a bit better. Just some of the rubber banding, the lag, the crashes, stuff like that. There's not like any, like, necessarily like game-breaking stuff. Yeah, absolutely, jump right in. I actually have Don't Starve on the PS4. I had purchased it on a pretty hefty sale before it was free to play, or before PlayStation dropped it for free. It's a really fun game too. It would be kind of cool to have your pets do something, but then I could see to where it would be considered like a pay-to-win type of ordeal. Sadly, I've seen like 2 or 3 Exiles drop this league, and none of them were from me. And that's the thing. Once you get to higher levels and like you're fighting harder enemies, that rubber banding is just, especially if you're running any sort of leech build whatsoever, like it's brutal, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. So let's, I keep forgetting that you know what, screw it. I've got that prophecy going, but that's fine. I can get that prophecy again. It's going to put that up to 20% quality right away with 1 use. I've been trying to save it for Exiles Pyramid, but skeletons, so none of those are all that bad.
A single tap from the chisel. Hello.
Speaking of prophecies, I have 4 open ones. Oh, look at that. The Queen's Vault. So this is the prophecy I was actually talking about earlier. So if we go and kill Atziri, she is guaranteed to drop her pyramid map, which has some fantastic items in it. Yeah, we can totally run a breach. I think they're still considered breaches.
The rings that bind grow tighter, the plate thicker.
Oh, you're talking about Atziri. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Single touch.
So I've mentioned this in my my video about this before, but I'll mention it here in the stream too. So you actually have to put these in an order. Is that what that Atziri prophecy goes for? I've actually never checked the price on that one because I always run it.
A device of 4 of shared flesh and blood.
So we'll beat the Apex here, and then like I'll show you exactly why it's worth running the reward for that. Although now I kind of wish I wouldn't have upgraded that map. But in all fairness, if I wouldn't have run it, then I probably wouldn't have checked on my prophecies, so I wouldn't have gotten that prophecy anyways. And right when I talked about how they hadn't notified me of the sale, they notified me of the sale like 5 minutes later. That's great. Yep, I've actually had it drop 2 6-links before. The only thing that sucks about it is those 6-links are typically going to be corrupted. So what you can actually do with them is somewhat limited. But I mean, if you get something with decent modifiers, then it's totally fine. Let's see what the modifiers on this strongbox are. Oh, that's totally fine. We're not going to get frozen or anything. I feel like this is going to be a very short boss fight right here. And as always, anyone who wants to come in, jump in and map with us, everyone's more than welcome. I thought we killed him, he just disappeared for a second. I mean, you can always grind blood aqueducts for Tabula, but at the same time, like, I really hate having an item that has no modifiers on it. I almost prefer to just go the painfully long route and just wait till I either craft a 6-link or get lucky enough to find one. Which you best believe after we finish this, we are definitely running the pyramid map. And I'm definitely going to spend 19 cartographer's chisels on it, even though it would have been nice to only spend the 1 on it through that prophecy. It'll be worth it to spend all those chisels on that map. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, Tabula's really nice for early game. It's great for early game, and it's really great for experimenting with different gems for your build, so you can kind of like get an idea and a feel for like what the different 6-links will do. But crap, I gotta pay attention here. It's actually important I don't die a bunch here. Yeah, that's the whole thing, like, not being able to have resist on your chest piece just kind of sucks. It's nice to have the 6-link, but once you get to about the mid-tier maps, it just doesn't work anymore. Oh, the portal wasn't there when I came back in. Nice. Honestly, I usually only use like the dual resist or like all resist crafting recipe when like I'm within that range to where it would make sense. And what I mean by that is because of the fact that nice Nova, so that's all fine. Because you know, say you do use like a double crafting recipe. And yeah, you can also get the multi-mod crafting, which is super useful. But like the big thing is, you know, say I've only got like 12 that I need in, you know, 2 different resists. That's when I'll go ahead and use that, you know, the dual resist crafting. Otherwise, if I need like 30 or 40, I'll just, you know, use the standard resist crafting recipe. Basically, it's whatever makes sense situationally. Oof. Oh no. I can't get back in to get my map. That sucks. Yeah, so maybe we won't be running that afterwards. What am I currently running? Yeah, I can't sacrifice that much. I can't pop back in. We're out of portals. She's buffed up a lot because we've got 3 people running. I just didn't expect to get one shot like that. And I don't think I attacked. Even if I did attack the reflecting Exile, it shouldn't affect me. Because if you look at, pretty sure I've picked that one up. Yeah, I can't take any reflected physical damage. So even if I would have attacked the mirror at Zeri, it wouldn't have done any damage to me. I don't take any reflected damage. So yeah, I just straight got one shot. I've been kind of disappointed with my monolith drops, to be honest with you. It might be where I got some of this gear from, but I'm pretty sure a lot of this I've actually just purchased outright. And this ring was donated. Yeah, Zeri went hard. Oh, nice. You get the hookup. For the most part, your resists are going to be built through your items. What ends up making it kind of difficult is the fact that after Act 5 and after Act 10, you get a 30% penalty to your resist. So if you go into like Act 5, then you have a full 75% resist and everything, it's going to take 30% away from that. There's nodes in the passive skill tree you can get for resist 2. But they're not as, I don't want to say as efficient, they're not as large as the percentage of resist you can get from your gear itself. So typically you're going to stack your resists on your gear. This is bad. I got cornered in a rough spot there. Thank God I made it out.
My spirit is spent.
I still have to get my last few trials of ascendancy to get through my last lab. I'm getting out of here before I desync. I can just sense that happening. Yeah, like this jewel that I was donated here. This is a solid one. All elemental resistances and cold and lightning resist, so basically it's giving me 21 to lightning and cold and an extra 10 to fire. I unfortunately haven't been able to run it. I found leech builds though, and I haven't used a ton of leech builds. Well, not like pure leech builds like this one. But typically with builds like this in lab, the traps are actually more difficult to get around than the enemies. If you're being impatient. Which I usually am. I usually push a little too hard into the traps and then realize I have to use my flasks a ton. And then end up having to find enemies so I can recharge them. We ran into that a ton the first night that we did the group play, because the desync was just so bad that basically we'd start playing together and like you couldn't even time the traps because the lag was so hard. Yeah, I usually carry bleed on at least one of my flasks. Bleed, freeze, and poison are the big three that I try and always carry. Unfortunately, with one of the skill nodes I picked up, I actually can't life regen. So for moments like this, for anyone who maybe hasn't caught my video on it, this is like an ideal spot for using the left trigger L2 and hitting X for my attacks. So when you have a ton of items like this, the last thing you want to do is start picking up items as opposed to attacking, and holding L2 will stop you from doing that. I mean, I didn't think I'd have to worry about one-shots nearly as much as it's been happening with this build. Just because, you know, I'm not quite at 5,000 health, but I'm pretty close. And, you know, usually that's enough to not get you one-shot. But it's been happening a lot more this league than in any previous leagues. Damn, like right there. Straight one shot. Walked into an explosion right out the door, dead. Couldn't do anything about it. Let's see, which one? Okay, so my onslaught flask.
Queen of one. Sky obeys.
Yeah, send out your minions, coward.
The Red
Nice.
Queen holds the key to her votes.
That's all I was hoping to do, is survive there so we could get that pyramid map. Woot woot, victory. See, as long as she doesn't one-shot me, I'm fine. Ooh, Doriani's Catalyst. Solid. Not for this build, but solid item in general. Let's see. We'll store these. And for once, I'm gonna get to share the wealth here. It's tempting to sell, but at the same time, because we're in stream, I kind of like to reward everyone and actually show everyone exactly what this pyramid looks like. Actually, maybe I'll get lucky here.
Let me tell your future.
No, didn't get the prophecy I was looking for. Just out of curiosity, I do want to see what people have it listed for. I actually don't know what tier pyramid's considered this league. I haven't even looked. Where is it? I think it was tier 8 last league. There's no way they put pyramid this high up. Yeah, we're on the tier 16, so I definitely passed it. It's not Vol pyramid. It's tier 12? Huh. I don't think that's the right one, though. Oh, no, it is. Yeah, there's a ton of them. So yeah, you can get them for a lot less than an Exile now. One for 15 chaos. So yeah, we'll totally run this. No, it normally doesn't. I've kind of noticed that. It's kind of weird how quickly that item in particular goes down in value considering the good items you can get from it. Like, I guarantee at least half of us walk away with 6 links from this. So you can't put 2 of the same support gems on one skill gem. It'll only count 1. You could use 2 separate support gems on separate skills that are socketed in different items. But yeah, you can't stack 2 on the same skill gem. Got a red map over here. I think that's what that icon means. Yep, sure did. Oh yeah, the pots can actually have really good items too. See, now that I was talking up this area, we're not going to get 6 links. Ooh, there's some hard desync there. Get rid of that overhead map, it's just getting in the way. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. This is probably the worst run I've had in here. Now everyone's gonna be like, add series pyramid. I saw BullShifter run that map. Wasn't worth it. Nothing good in that place. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, it's crazy. I ran this map twice last league, and the first time I got 2 6 links, and the second time I got 1. It's all RNG. All RNG. Hmm. Yeah, there's a few divination cards spread out across the place. So unique up here. Another divination card up here. But I mean, at least everyone kind of gets the idea of what the vault is like. Basically, it's a giant reward area. Adziri can drop that map without using that prophecy that I had, but that prophecy just guarantees it. Must be the one I just picked up, yeah. Yeah, it sucks no one got a 6 link. We got a few more sacrifice shards, a couple maps, Heretic's Veil. Yeah, have a good night, dude. It's an okay bow. It could be a great bow. I actually wouldn't know just because I haven't built any archers in this game yet. That's kind of where I'm leaning towards next league, just to do something different. I like to try and build a different character every league, something I haven't done before. Helps keep the game fresh. That is one thing that can unfortunately happen, is you push yourself really hard in this game, and you can definitely feel the burnout.
Greetings.
That's awesome, dude. You playing Summoner? I actually built up a higher amount of currency than I thought. Let's see. So tier 9s we already had. But I think a lot of people burned out last season just because... okay, that makes sense. A lot of people didn't seem to enjoy Synthesis as much as a lot of past leagues. A lot of PC players actually took a break. A lot of PC players are actually taking a break right now, from what I've read online too. So for this map, we will have to turn it into a rare. And then corrupt it. Which I would re-roll those modifiers, because I'm not a fan of being cursed with vulnerability or temporal chains. But I have no idea what corrupting this will do. It unidentified it. We're going to go with it. Blind faith. I think Legion's great too. I think a lot of the PC guys, just because a lot of those guys have been playing almost non-stop since the beta for the game on PC, it's easier for them to get burned out. Looks like we still have temporal chains attached. So I'm almost wondering if it kept the same curses. Yeah, we have vulnerability and temporal chains, so I think it kept the same modifiers, but just made the map technically unidentified. Yeah, I agree. I think Legion's a pretty fun league.
My spirit is spent.
I truthfully didn't even mind Synthesis that much. My only thing with Synthesis is it was kind of disconnected from the main game. Like, you actually had to go into a completely separate area and do something completely unrelated to a lot of the rest of the game. Yeah, Legion's nice because, I mean, yeah, you have the shards, but, you know, for the most part, like, you're running the normal content and still able to run a good majority of the league mechanics at the same time. Yeah, I think a lot of people share that opinion. It's just... I think if the game ran flawlessly, if it ran the way that it's supposed to run, I feel like we'd have a much larger player base. So I feel like a lot of the performance issues have turned off a lot of people on this game. Which is unfortunate because, I mean, there's not really an overabundance of ARPGs on PS4. And I mean, I honestly think this is the best one, but, you know, if people are constantly crashing and constantly lagging all the time, it's not going to make them want to play. No way, we just got another Vault Pyramid map. It's not the unique one, but I just think that's kind of funny. They would work on separate items because they'd be supporting separate skills. Yeah, I haven't blue screened once yet tonight, and it doesn't look like anyone have been playing with his blue screened either. Ah, man. Just couldn't get out of that. Oh great, I just spawned back in town. It does lag pretty hard when everything gets unfrozen still. Yeah, like I'm assuming he just blue screened. Because we just lost one in the group. I lagged so hard I couldn't move. I was spamming circle trying to leap slam and ended up teleporting back into town when I died. So yeah, they've still got work to do, but I'm trying to be optimistic just because they are making an effort, so... Yeah, I really hope the PS5 is 100% backwards compatible with at least PS4. From the sounds of it, from everything they've been talking about with the leaks, it sounds like it will be. If it isn't, I'll admittedly be pretty disappointed. See, I don't think it would stack in that way. Just because the way, at least this is the way that I understand that it works. Once something's been applied on an enemy, you'd essentially be just refreshing the duration of it. You wouldn't actually be stacking it.
I did it. I mean, we.
I actually have the temple
The location of the temple is now clear.
completely built with her. It's going to be kind of disappointing because I didn't unlock everything.
I did it. I mean, we did it.
That's why I haven't really been running that.
Remember to watch your step. We may have helped build this wall, but
I mean, that's the kind of stuff you have to think about, though. And, like, I give you a lot of credit for trying to, you know, be creative and think of, you know, ways around limitations. 'Cause, I mean, that's how people figure out overpowered builds. That's exactly how it happens. You think of something that is very niche, you know, something that you wouldn't exactly think would work. Yeah, like I actually apply multiple curses with this character because my my boots here allow me to apply a second curse. So that's how I have it's enfeeble and vulnerability. Yeah, enfeeble and vulnerability, which reminds me, I always forget when I die. A lot of people actually use Arc as a leveling skill. It's pretty popular as a leveling skill just because you get it relatively early on. Temporal chains is so terrible. Stupid totems. Another sacrifice fragment. I'm not sure. I must have picked that up by mistake. And the thing with this game too is like there's going to be a lot of skill gems that are underrated and overlooked by people just because of the fact like, and you know, I fell into that trap a little bit this league without realizing it. Just because I had read all the patch notes for melee skills and what it was potentially going to do for Cyclone, and Cyclone reminded me a lot of Whirlwind, so I decided to go with a Cyclone build and then realized like so did half of the rest of the world. But you know, because of that, because of, you know, the big melee buff, you know, there's still going to be a lot of you know, spell-based skills that are still really good that just aren't going to be used a whole lot. I'm using Death Rush. Mainly just for that onslaught unkill, so that way when I'm leeching off of a pack of enemies, I can have onslaught granted every time I kill one of them. That's the biggest reason I have this equipped. Plus it gives me some max life. The attack damage leeches life, like I have that well beyond maxed out, so that's a bit of a wasted stat, but a little bit of chaos resistance, that's kind of nice. The armor and accuracy rating are good to have too. I've never gotten one before this league, so I'd have to double check and see if that's actually a new league unique or not. Like I said, the actual unique items are probably the one area I have the least knowledge on.
Greetings.
I've always done my best to try and build around, you know, not throwing, you know, a ton of uniques on my builds and just basically using uniques to supplement and make my build better over time. And we're like a leprechaun sneeze away from our next level too. So let's see, what time is it? It's actually probably getting super late. Yeah, it is. So I think we'll run one more map and then we'll call it a night here. So we may as well run Plateau Tier 10, and I don't think we have the bonus for it yet either. I think I snagged 2 of those in the last map we ran. It's not a red, so we'll be able to run it as just a rare map. Yeah, it's about 10:45 here. But I have to be up for work around 5:30 in the morning. Yeah, we still got to get you an Exalted drop. We still got to get me an Exalted drop too. I could probably sell a lot of my inventory to get a few exalts, but I just like the satisfaction, you know, having one drop. Nothing beats that. sulfite. Nice.
Good find, Exile.
Let's run a little short on that. I definitely want to run a few more delve streams like we did on Friday. Someone got a solid gold amulet, hopefully. Delve is probably the best, like, past League content they decided to keep. Einhar's fun, like the incursions are fun. Syndicate's fun too, not to take anything away from those, but just all the stuff you can get while delving, it makes it hard to compete with. So I mean, you can get multiple different items, you know, anywhere from currency to gear, on top of getting fossils and resonators for crafting, which is typically like your easiest way to, you know, craft solid items. So I mean, delving's just a great way to build your character. And it makes sense, like you can get some currency, you can get some pretty decent early game gear. I'm glad we leveled up, just in case we freeze die again here. Yeah, I mean, there can be a lot to it, but once you kind of get it down, just because there's multiple, you know, different mechanics and everything involved with delving. This guy's taking a beating. Someone got an incubator there. Nice, some nice movement speed boots. It can be. There's multiple settings you can do for loot. I do like a strict allocation, just so that way everyone gets allocated their own loot. I don't think anyone would fight over loot, but it just kind of eliminates that from the equation. I just feel like it makes for a friendlier gaming experience. Because like when I do the big group plays like this, I do this for fun. Like I just enjoy doing this. I enjoy just kind of chatting with everyone playing. It's like the last thing I want is, you know, for people to get upset and like rush for items and stuff. No pooping on the party. Was this the arena entrance up here? Yeah. Partying up's a lot of fun. It gets laggy. which is, it's gotten better throughout the league though, and it gets a lot more difficult. I probably wouldn't have been getting one-shotted by Aziri, but they get a multiplier for each person who's in the game. It just makes it a little more difficult. So that's in all reality probably why we were getting one-shotted from her. But I mean, we still pulled it off, and that's all that matters. Hey, what's up, Waffle? I always feel bad when someone pops in right at the end of the stream. There's a chisel out here for somebody. Yeah. So eventually, it must go to public. Yeah, that's the worst thing about the time zone difference I have with some of you guys. Is I know it just makes it really difficult for you guys to catch streams. Like the fact that, you know, I have so many subscribers from so many different areas is really cool. At the same time, it's just... The one bad part about it is the fact that I feel bad because some people never really get a chance to catch any of the live streams just because it's at super inconvenient times for them. Speaking of which, we hit 1,500 the other day. I was pretty excited and pretty happy to see that. I mean, growth on the channel slowed down a little bit, but I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, thank you. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, one, I'm not posting tutorial videos as often as I was before, just because I've covered a ton of different content. And two, I think there are a lot of people who are just frustrated with the game in general right now because of the performance, but I mean, I'm happy to be where we're at. I honestly never expected to even get to 1,500 when I started. I didn't expect to get to 1,000 when I first started. So, you know, thank you guys. I do really appreciate it. It's awesome that, you know, the channel's gotten as big as it is. And I know it's, you know, it's not like one of the big time YouTube channels, but I enjoy it where it's at. It's fun. Like, I'm still to the point where I can respond to people, and it hasn't grown so large to the point where, like, I can't read through the comment sections on videos or, you know, interact with my chat during streams. Like, it's pretty much right at just the right size right now to where I can acknowledge everyone and where I can actually, like, talk to everyone on a somewhat personal level, which is kind of cool. And I feel like a lot of streamers and a lot of content creators don't really get that with their community because they grow, you know, so large. And, you know, I'd love to have the channel get bigger, and, you know, hopefully someday we'll get there. But if we don't, like, I'm really happy with where we're at now. What's up, Waffle? See, I've actually got quite a few shards to go until I can create these emblems. Not a terrible idea. I mean, giveaways are always a solid idea. My biggest thing with giveaways, and like I did this with the channel originally when I used to do something totally different than Path of Exile. I'd do giveaways, and like it would get to a point where like people were literally only tuning in for the giveaways. So it helps you get more people, but it doesn't really help you get the right people. Like, the people I have subscribed to the channel now are the right people. Like, people who just want to tune in, chill out, you know, and just, you know, hang out and are super chill. I mean, I want the channel to grow, but I also want it to grow with people who are very similar to the people who are subscribed to my channel now, which is just a really solid, positive group of people. And my fear of doing giveaways is I might, you know, get some of those, you know, more toxic or, you know, people who are essentially just there to get stuff. Yeah, Rob, this game is quite a bit like Diablo. A bit more advanced with like a lot of the builds, the leveling, and the skill tree, but at its core, I mean, it's the same genre, ARPG, kill, loot, rinse, repeat. Definitely a lot of fun if you haven't given it a shot, and it's free to start. Yeah, definitely. I've been trying to get enough shards to do it, but I had so much fun running Necromancer in D3 because of that. Like, I don't play a lot of D3, but I have it on my Nintendo Switch, so I play it on the go every now and again. I'd love to see Path of Exile on Nintendo Switch, but at the same time, I think it would probably make the Nintendo Switch explode. Yeah, for sure, man. I hope you have fun with it. If you get stuck anywhere, my YouTube channel has a ton of tutorials built up at this point, kind of ranging everywhere from like the beginning of the game to some more advanced stuff too. So if you get stuck, just definitely give some of my videos a quick search. I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for somewhere. I haven't actually seen that. Is that a unique shield, I'm assuming? Yeah, definitely, you too. So I'm doing the same thing I do at the end of every stream. I'm just dragging things out. But just obviously, once again, wanted to give you guys a huge thank you. I do really appreciate you guys being a part of the channel, coming by, checking out the streams. This is always a ton of fun for me. My streams always actually end up going longer than what I expect them to, just because I kind of get lost in the time and just I end up having a lot of fun, especially when we do these group play events. So again, a huge thank you to you guys. Obviously, there wouldn't be a channel if it wasn't for you guys. So, you know, I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully, we continue to grow. But like I said, even if the channel's kind of at where it's going to be, I'm totally content with that. I have a lot of fun doing this. I enjoy making the content, and I absolutely love streaming for you guys. So, hope you all have a great night. Hopefully, everyone had a great weekend. And until next time, may the RNG be with you. Always.